So in the previous lecture, we have seen the project structure of our Android app. We have also seen how to add different Android components by simply dragging and dropping, or by adding their equivalent code in the code section. But before I continue any further with this course, I would like to do one more change. I would like to change Android Studio to full screen so that you can have a better visibility for the code. Okay, so up till now we have added a simple text view to our Android app. And beside that, we have also added a button below that. We have also assigned a unique ID for both of the Android components. So basically what we will be doing is that when we click on this button, the above text changes with the background color. At this current state, as you run your Android app, there will be nothing, as we have not implemented any logic for our button. For implementing logic to the button, we have to add some code to the Java file. So you can see that there are already some code written in this Java file. As I had mentioned it in the previous lectures, that whenever you create an empty activity, there will be some predefined codes written in the Java file. Above here you can see a little plus icon beside this import text. These are all the classes which are imported by this Java file in order to inherit their features. You can always minimize and maximize this section as per your need. For now, I will be leaving this thing like this, as to get a better understanding of what classes we are importing in our Java file. If you have any prior experience working with Java programming language, then you might know some of these keywords like public, class, static, etc. But in case you don't, then don't worry, I will be talking all about it as we move further with this course. Right now, what you need to keep in mind is this onCreate method. Consider this as the starting point of your Android app. In other words, if we run our application, then the code written inside this onCreate method will run first. Next, inside this onCreate method, you can see that we are setting a content view. You can see that we have this activity main written over here, and we are accessing that layout file from inside our Java file. Now we can start writing our code. Firstly, I will be defining that text view which we have added to our XML file. You can see that as soon as I start typing, Android Studio start giving me some relevant suggestions. Select text view, as we will be defining the component in here. As soon as you select this, you can see that a new line has been added to the import section of our Java file. It is showing that we have imported text view class from the widget package in our Java file. Moving on, we now need to give a variable name to our text view. You can give whatever the name you like for the text view. For example, here I will be giving TV message as its name. Now we have to locate the text view from our Java file. For that, you simply need to write equal to find view by ID. This method is very useful to find different Android components from our Java file. Inside these parentheses, you need to write r.id.txt message. Here, R stands for resources class in Java, and the ID which we have written over here must be the same as which we have written in our layout file. Add a semicolon. In Java, you need to add a semicolon whenever you finish writing a sentence. Now you can work with this text view. For example, if you wish to change the text of your text view, then you simply have to type TV message, which is the name of your text view, and then put a dot. Putting a dot right after this component name will allow you to access all its different attributes and methods. For example, you can type set text, and inside the parenthesis you can type your text which you want to show. At this point, if we run our application, you can see a hello world text. Right now this app is not interactive, and we want to change the text only when we press the button. For doing that, we need to define an onClickListener method for this button over here. Well, there are more than one methods you can use to define the onClick event for this button. One such way is by writing an onClick method name in our XML file. And then later on defining it in our Java file. Right now you can see a warning for this method, as there is no such method present in our Java file. Let's copy the method name from here and add it to our Java file. So in order to add this onClick method, we need to define it outside our onCreate method. But remember that your method should be inside this main activity method. To define the method, we need to write public void. After that, we need to write method name, which is on button click. And inside these parentheses, write view. And a name for this view is view. Now move these two lines of code inside our onClick button method. As you can see now that the previous warning which was showing in our layout file has now been gone. Now run the app. Right now, if we click on this button, the text above it changes. Similarly, if we want to change the background color with our text, then we have to assign an ID to our background layout. And then add it to our Java file by method named findViewById. Then inside this onClick button method, change the background color by adding this piece of code. Now again run this app. We can now see that as soon as we click on this button, the text and the background color both changes. You can even make this app much more interactive by adding an edit text component in our layout file. Edit text is basically the text input field which you often see at the time of user login. You can see that after we have added an edit text to our layout file, it shows some attributes with which we can work around. For example, take this hint attribute. This hint attribute will display a text inside your edit text, and after a user click on it, the hint text will get disappeared. You can understand it like a placeholder which shows user what you need to type in this edit text. Now going back to our Java file for defining this component. Once again, you can see that as soon as I start typing, Android Studio starts showing me some suggestions. I will be defining the edit text in the same way like we had defined the text view earlier in the lecture. After defining this, we now need to get the text from edit text. For that, simply write your edit text variable name. .getText. .toString. This toString method helps us getting the exact text which user have entered in the edit text. Now add this edit text value with our text view which we had defined earlier. That's all. Save it and run it. Here, enter your name in this edit text field and press this button. You can now see that this app has now become much more interactive.